If you're worried about carbon exhaust gases getting back into your engine through the EGR valve, on a Skoda Fabia 1.9 pump juice engine that's manually operated by a vacuum diaphragm, then there's a number of simple things that you can do to stop that. So stay tuned and I'll see you after this short break. The first method I'm going to show you involves taking the EGR valve off. If you want to know how to do that, you can check out my other video on how to remove the EGR valve. I'll leave a link at the end of the video and in the description. If you've been searching online, you may have come across these solid gaskets or blanking plates, and all it does is replace the actual gasket that's on the EGR valve from the exhaust branch pipe. This is what they look like. You could actually make one yourself out of some metal if you're a dab hand with a saw, a drill and a file. Fairly straightforward really. The hardest part is actually fitting them. If we look down underneath the top of the EGR valve, this is where you want to put your blanking plate, completely blocking off any exhaust gases. And on these models you won't get a check engine light. You'll only get one of those on the later versions that are linked to the ECU. And importantly, the flapper valve still functions as it should, actuated by a different vacuum pipe. Another method will be to disable the diaphragm, which actuates the lifting pin, and for this all you need to do is disconnect the vacuum pipe which supplies it. Simply pull it off, and then use an M6 6mm short bolt. I've got a nice stainless steel Allen headed bolt. Just insert that, which is a nice tight fit, completely blocking the vacuum off. You can just leave that dangling or tie it up somewhere. And of course it's a good idea to tape up the top of the diaphragm as well, stop any debris going back into it. If you want something a little bit less obvious, you could take off the vacuum housing block. Just take off these two clips and just ease it off. And if you follow the pipe, it's this one here at the top. And what you could do here is find just the right size screw that will grip the inside of the tube but be no bigger than the outside diameter, which might take some doing. You could block it off with some epoxy resin, but that would be a bit more permanent. But I actually wouldn't recommend any of these methods, as there's another method that leaves everything intact and is virtually undetectable and completely removable. Not that I'm recommending you do this anyway, as the engines are actually designed to recirculate the exhaust gases for a reason, or recycling as I like to call it. And on that note, the best method to delete your EGR and be undetectable is to do nothing at all. Like the good little boys and girls that we are, we've just got to accept to clean the EGR and intake manifold out every 2 or 3 years. And in that way we do our little bit to save the environment and actually stay within the regulations. So thank you for watching. No, I'm only kidding guys. If anybody is actually interested, this is my take on the best method of doing it without interfering with anything, and as I said, totally removable. Take your 6mm bolt out of the end of the pipe, go into the garage and clamp your bolt into your vise, and you want to be cutting a little slot about 3mm down the centre of the shaft, which enables you to put a flat bladed screwdriver on it. Now cut the head of the bolt off. And file all the sharp burrs off. And in a couple of minutes you've got a nice little grub screw, just like this one. Insert your grub screw into the end of the vacuum pipe, and you want to be screwing it in as far enough so you've got enough pipe left over to go on the end of the diaphragm, whilst being long enough and tight enough not to migrate further down the pipe with the vacuum applied to it. If it does move at all, I'll just have to make a longer one, but I'm pretty confident this will work. And yes, you've guessed it, I haven't actually tried this one out yet. It's a bit of a prototype. So if you do try this at home, let me know how you get on in the comments, and I'll let you know in another video how I get on when I get round to testing it. And there we have it. You can hardly see that. Blocks the pipe and seals the top of the diaphragm as well. And to remove it, just unscrew it. Just like that. I thought that was quite a nice little mod, that. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Awful weather. Freezing.